So, hello friends, again welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, guys, I have started a novel, Erich Seeger love story, and on first and second summary of first and second chapter I have completed. You can see my recent videos, and now I am going to start the summary of chapter third. In the first chapter, we discussed about the library and where he found where he found Jennifer Cavallari, and Oliver Barrett found Jennifer Cavallari. And in the summary of second chapter, discuss about the hockey game and how they are playing, and and in the third chapter, I will uh, uh, I will talk about how he get Oliver Barrett get hurted in the hockey game. So let's start with me. It might be very long. You just stay tuned with me. I got hurt. Oliver said, I got hurt in the Cornell game. It, it was Oliver. It was Oliver's fault. At the intense pressure and he made not intentionally error of referring their center as a funking check. His oversight was is not remembering that the four member of their team were Canadian. So uh, so to add insult to injury, the penalty was imposed on Oliver Barrett. So they imposed penalty on Oliver Barrett, and and not the common one, 5 minutes for fighting. And again uh, and then Oliver climbed into the box. Jackie Felt is the name of team member of Oliver Barrett. Jackie Felt come, and it was realized. Then Oliver realized that the whole right side of his face was a bloody mesh, and uh, and he kept repeating as he walked way over with a typical pencil, and Oliver sat quietly, staring blankly ahead. He felt guilty to look onto the eyes where his worst fear were quickly suddenly realized, and the red fins. Red fins means the competitor of uh, competitor of uh, uh, Oliver team, uh, uh, and their fans. Red fans screamed means the competitor of Oliver Barrett, and their fans screaming and shouting aloud, and the Cornell could win possibly the game. And Cornell is also a competitor of Oliver Barrett, uh, a team member of competitive team of Oliver Barrett, and Cornell could very possibly win the game. And Oliver had barely gone through half his penalty. Means Oliver only turned the penalty a half, uh, enclosed the area of swing. Only few Harvard contingent was silent and serious. By now, the fans for both the sides forgotten Oliver Barrett. Only one spectator still had his eye on the penalty box. Oliver said, "If the conference breaks in time, I will definitely try to go to Cornell and sitting among the Harvard noters, but not rooting." And Old Stony Face is also a competitor of Oliver Barrett. Old Stony com- Old Stony Face observed an expressionless silence, his last bit of bleeding, and then Oliver Barrett father's come, and he said, Oliver, If you like fighting so much, then why don't you go out for a boxing team? Oliver said, Exeter don't have a boxing team, father. Well, perhaps I should not come out to your hockey game, father said. Um, mm, Oliver said, do you think I fight for your benefit? Uh, well, I would not say benefit, father said, but of course, nobody will could tell what he was thinking, what Oliver was thinking. Uh, Oliver was walking and talking about Mount Rushmore and Stony Face. And then old Stony was enjoying in his self celebration, looking at me. There are extremely few Harvard spectators here this evening, and yet father said I am one of them. No, no, a second. Old Stoney said, I am one of them, spectator. Oliver Barrett, an extremely busy man, and so on. And the crowd roared, and the crowd roared again. But really wild as times, another corner goal again. They were ahead. David Johnson skated up eyes red faced and looking angry. He passed right by me without so much as glance, and Oliver noticed tears in his eyes. And okay, the title was at skate, but then David, our captain, David is the captain of Oliver team. Um, this is an incredible streak going for him. Or incredible, it is incredible because 7 years he would never played on a losing side, high school or college. It was like a legion minor legend, and he was a senior, and this was our last tough game. After the game, the X-ray and after the game, the X-ray has been gone, and X-ray determined that no bones were broken. Only 12 stitches were stitched into Oliver Barrett cheek. This happened due to penalty. I talk about the bloody mesh on the cheek of Oliver Barrett, and the an X-ray determined the 12 stitches were sewn into Oliver cheek by Dr. Richard Selger. Jackie Felt was waiting around the medical room out the medical room, telling the corner physician how Oliver cannot was not eating right, was not eating right, telling the corner physician how I was not eating right, how मतलब Oliver Barrett was not eating right, सही वो सही खाना नहीं खा रहा था, and that all this might have been averted, मतलब to prevent all this might have been prevented from bad happening. And Oliver asked to himself, had I been taking sufficient salt pills? Selger ignored Jack and gave Oliver a serious warning about my nearly about her his nearly damaging, and not to play for a week would be the wisest things. Oliver thanked him. He left and felt dogging him to talk more of nutrition, and Oliver was glad to be alone. Oliver showered slowly, being careful not to wet her uh, sore not to wet his sore face, and mm, but he was somehow happy to feel pain. It means I mean had not he really fucked up, David Johnston, and and he said I did not really fucked up, उसने मतलब सब कुछ खराब उसने नहीं किया था, मतलब इट मीन्स वी हैड blown the title, broken our own streak. All the seniors had been undefeated, and David Johnson too. So Oliver was thinking the blame was not totally mine, and for the this mishappening, the blame is not for him. But right then, he felt like it was. And then he thinks, Oliver thinks that think that yeah, it can be his mistake. Uh, and there are nobody in the locker room, and uh, uh, and I supposed no one want and he supposed no one wanted to see his and speak to him with his terrible bitter taste in his mouth. He felt so bad, and he could taste it. He packed my gear and walked outside. And there were not many Harvard friends out there. Uh, and then Mr. Jenks asked Oliver Barrett, "How's your chick?" Oliver said, "Okay, thanks." He said, "You will probably want a steak." Steak means a piece of meat, said another familiar voice, and the another familiar voice was of father, and another familiar voice of was father. Another familiar voice was of father. Uh, uh, how typical of him to suggest the old-fashioned cure for a black guy. He said, father said. Oliver said, "Thank you, father." He said, the doctor took care of it. He indicated the gauze, the cotton net joted to cover the hurted part of a skin or a body. And father said, I mean for your stomach, Oliver. And then at the dinner, all the comments, all the conversation comments with how have you been, how life has been, how life has been for you, and and conclude with anything I can do. Oliver said, "Fine, sir, fine." Uh, he said, "Does your face hurt?" Oliver said, "No, sir, it was beginning to hurt like hell." Father said, I would like Jack Hells to look at it on Monday." Fa- Oliver said, "Not necessary, father. It's a specialist." And Oliver said, the corner doctor was not exactly a veterinarian. Veterinarian means a person qualified to treat disease or injured animals. He said, hopping to a dampen, my father's usual, and he said, hopping to make less strong his father's usual arrogant enthusiasm for specialists and experts and other top people. Too bad, Oliver said. "Mm, too bad, Oliver," remarked Oliver Barrett. Uh, Father said, you did a beastly cut." He said, "Yes, yes, sir." And then Oliver was wondering if my father's victicism, victicism means टिप्पणी करना, like both clever and humorous, had not been intended as some sort of implicit reprimand for my actions, for his action on the ice, or you can skip it as well if you are not able to understand this. And then and Oliver said, or you were or were you implying that or were you implying that I behaved like an animal this evening? His expression suggested some pleasure at the face well, it means father's expression suggests some pleasure at the fact that Oliver asked to him, um, but he simply replied, uh, uh, Oliver were the one who mentioned veteri- veterinarians. At the point, Oliver started at this point, Oliver decided to study the menu for the dinner, and the main course was served. Old Stony lun- lunched into another of his simplistic sermontes. This one, if he recall, he tried not to concerning victories and the faith. He noted that we Oliver noted that we had lost the title, and but after all, in sport, uh, Oliver noted that we had lost the title. Oliver नहीं, Old Stony noted that we had lost the title, but after all, in sport, what really count is not the winning but the playing. Uh, and his remarks sounded suspiciously close to a paraphrase of the Olympic motto, and on Oliver censored this was the overtrue to a put down of such athletic. But Oliver was not about to feed him any Olympic straight lines. So Oliver gave him his quotas of yes sir and shut up, and and the usual conversations will begin and center around all Stoney's favorite Montemic plans. He said, "Tell me, Oliver, have you heard from the law school?" Uh, Oliver said, "Actually, father, I have not definitely decided on law school." Oliver was merely asking if law school had definitely decided on you. Was this another victimism? Was I supposed to smile at my father's rosy rhetoric? Uh, no, sir. Oliver had not heard. I could give prize Zimmerman a ring. No, Oliver interrupted as an instant reflex, and the conversation move on. And the father said he wanted to get the letter, and the Oliver said to father, "I want to get the letter with everyone else. Please." Father said, "Of course." And Oliver said, "Thank you, sir. Uh, Thank you, father." Besides this, really into much beside there really is not much doubt about Oliver getting in, but mentioned there are not really beside this there are not really much doubt about Oliver getting in. Oliver don't know why, but father said, "I don't know why, but Oliver Barrett was a way of disparving me while uttering what means Oliver Barrett has a uh, uh, way of disparaging means अपमानित करना and trying to say something. It is okay extremely it's no extremely easy task, father replied. And they don't have a hockey team after all. I have no idea why I was putting myself down, Oliver said. And maybe it was because he was taking the opposite view, and maybe it was because he was taking the opposite view, and you Oliver said, "You have other qualities," but declined to elaborate. Uh, the meal was, and the talk about the meal was served. The meal was very bad as a conversation, except that I could have predicted the Oliver could have predicted the staleness and bassipence of the roles even before they arrived, whereas can never predict what subject his father will set blandly, will set kindly before Oliver Barrett, and there is always the peace corps, he remarked, completely out of the blue. And uh, and there is always a peace corps, Oliver remarked. Sir, I asked, not quite sure whether he was making a. Oliver asked, not quite sure whether he was making a statement or asking a question. I think uh, Oliver was not quite sure whether he was making a statement or asking a question. But he said, Peace Corps is a fine thing. He here means uh, a waiter who served the food. Well, I relied. Oliver replied, it's certainly better than the war corps. We were even. Oliver don't know what he meant, and vice versa. Was that it for the topic? Was that it? Was this is the topic? Was this is for the topic and that for the topic? And would we now discuss other current affairs or government programs? No, Oliver had monetary forgotten that our quantizational typical of something theme is always his plan, and Oliver would certainly have no objection to joining the Peace Corps. Waiter said, I would certainly have no objection to your joining the Peace Corps. Oliver, it's a mutual, sir. Oliver replied, matching his own generosity or kindly of spirit. Mm, Oliver was sure old Stoney never listened to him anyway. He was not surprised that he did not react to his quiet little scarcism मतलब precise करना use a word to use a word uh, to opposite the whole people sage. But among your classmates continue what started there, and then they discuss about mm, uh, and the conversations going on, and they talk about their plans between Boston and Ithaca, New York. But Oliver Barrett chose to drive, and now they go to their home, and Oliver Barrett choose to drive. Oliver Barrett wants to drive the car. Note that those many hours at the wheel, not for those many hours, would be taken as some kind of parental gesture. It means Oliver would not drive more times as the owner of the Oliver will not Oliver would not drive much as his owner drive. Oliver's father simply likes to drive fast at that hour of the night in the Nordstrom Metro and DBS. You can go fast as hell. Oliver have no doubt that Oliver Barrett was out to break his itchy car, and they're driving and talk about something and something like a Boston speed record. Mm, said the year pre after he called. So thank you guys.